Hello everyone and welcome back to HITC Football. I hope you're all having a great time and I hope you're having a great day, and I hope your day's going to be even better after you watch this video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look. If Manchester United could sign one player from every Premier League club, who should they sign? Bit of a different concept, and if you like the idea and want to see your team, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs, St. Patrick's Athletic, make sure you smash the like button. I hear you say, just before it starts as well, is he going to go alphabetical? Is he going to go alphabetical? He is going to go alphabetical with his first pick, and that is Arsenal. Arsenal's a little bit of a tough one. I was looking at Thomas Partey, for example. I was thinking about Gabriel or Ben White, but I know Man United are struggling when it comes to their centre mids. And I know they're also struggling when they come to their centre backs. Insert Harry Maguire joke. But I'm going to go with Saka. Over 100 games in the Premier League with 33 goal contributions, a young, promising talent. He's already shown his class in the Premiership. And I think at Man United, yes, they have got Rashford, yes, they have got Sancho, but they're not playing exactly fantastically. So if they can get somebody in that is currently in form, which we can't deny Saka is at Arsenal, I think it would be a good deal. So first one, a little bit rocky, but I'm going to go for Xhaka. Next up we go to Aston Villa and we go for, who's behind me right now, coming out over my shoulder ever so slowly, John McGinn, the box-to-box Scotsman, the midfield maestro. I think he would be a great fit at Manchester United. He wouldn't come in, he wouldn't be the main player, but Man United really need a good box-to-box midfielder. They're struggling, so for me, John McGinn just makes perfect sense. Into the Rev Devils, son. Bournemouth, for some of the lower, end of the table teams or teams that have just came up, like Bournemouth, it's been a little bit hard for me to, come up with somebody. So I've decided to go for a bit of I don't know. I've gone for Billard. He can play that centre mid role, he can play that DM role. He's had over 112 appearances for Bournemouth and he's been quite good. He's had 21 appearances with 15 assists, which is quite good from a DM, box-to-box central midfielder role. And he's also got a tackle success rate of 72%. Man United need to start winning the ball back in the midfield. Fred doesn't do it consistently enough. He can be class on his day, but just not good enough overall. Same kind of go for Scott McTominay. So for me, I think Billin would be a good pick here. Next we move to Brentford and I've gone for another centre-back option. I've gone for Christoph Ayer. He's been quite good at Brentford since he came in from Celtic. He's shown some really good form. He's good in the air and even better, he's good with the ball at his feet. He's very good at getting the ball and then whipping it out wide, getting it up the pitch for other players to come onto. He's a good transitional player where he'll win you the ball back and boom, pitch, Rashford's in, Sancho's in, Ronaldo's in. That's what Man United need in their backline. A, someone that can defend, but B, somebody that can make that counter-attacking football that they play, or played. We're still not sure how Ten Hag's going to really try fix up this team, but I think Christoph Ayer makes sense. And yes, we're only 4 teams in, but a lot of these are going to be centre-backs and centre midfielders, just so you know. Brighton, another centre-back. An English one. We've gone for Lewis Dunk. I was looking at Brighton and Lewis Dunk stands out to me the most. I think if he came in at Man United, it wouldn't be for too much money and it wouldn't be too much pressure on him knowing that he's came from Brentford. He's not overly hyped. He does get a lot of respect for what he does and I think at Man United, he would shine. I think he'd do quite well. He'd come into that back line, maybe partner Varane. A lot of these are it's hard to pick. It is really hard to pick, just so you know, but I'm kind of going on whims and, what makes sense, and they do need a bit of leadership in that back line, and Lewis Dunk provides that. So Brighton, Lewis Dunk, Manchester United, makes sense. Next, we go to the club that I have complete and utter bias about, and that is Chelsea Football Club. N'Golo Kante.
Thank you.
Now I know Pogba's left and the dream combination for United fans would have been Kante and Pogba at France, 2018 midfield, tearing it up in the Premier League, but I still think Kante would be the right choice. Yes, he's getting on a little bit and yes, he can't play every game now and he is a little bit injury prone, but I think that is kind of good in a way. It gives them an opportunity to go in, spend a decent amount of money for Kante, then get somebody younger in and it gives them time to prosper and grow into the team and settle into Manchester United, because Manchester United isn't an easy place to settle into. We've seen it with a lot of players and the pressure on players and it doesn't really work out. So for that and that reason alone, I think going for someone like Kante who will come in, sort you out for maybe a season and a half. N'Golo Kante. Look at him. He's so happy. Next up is Crystal Palace, and this one makes sense for the player, makes sense for Crystal Palace, and in a way makes sense for Manchester United. And that is, W. That's Wilfred Zaha. Wilfried Zaha obviously was at Manchester United, got let go and went and did what he did, getting over 102 goal contributions now in the Premier League, and at the age of 30 he only has 1 year left on his contract, which leaves Crystal Palace in a little bit of a dicey situation. Do they keep the player for a year and guarantee themselves staying up and guarantee another 15-20 goals out of him, or do they decide to cash in this summer? If they were going to, I think him going to Manchester United wouldn't be a bad idea for Manchester United. It definitely would be for Crystal Palace, as they get a good sum of money for him, and it would be good for the player because he'd get his final big payday before, you know, going down the football. That's my cat just after shaking the camera. I just think Wilfried Zaha to Man United would make sense out of most people in that. Other than that, you're looking at Mark Guehi, for example, but I just wanted to mix it up where I can and not go for young or English centre-backs. So Zaha, United, boom. Everton! Everton need a lot of signings themselves, so the only one I could think that would do any good at Manchester United would be DCL. Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He has 45 goals in the Premiership already, and I think he is a top-class striker. Yes, he has had that knock recently, and he's only just nursing himself back from that, so we'll see if he will bounce back with the same tenacity that he had before the injury this season for Everton, unless he moves. At Manchester United, I think it makes sense if you keep Ronaldo for another season, okay? And then you can rotate the likes of Rashford with Ronaldo, and you bring DCL in, it makes sense. A striker going in, an English striker going in there after Ronaldo is going to be a hard task. It's going to be a lot of pressure on the player. I think if you bring him in there for a season at Manchester United and you have Ronaldo there to mentor him and rotate for a season with him, and then Ronaldo decides to go, you're going to have the best version of Dominic Calvert-Lewin possible at Manchester United. So if it was anywhere from, you know, 40 to 60 million and I was Man United, it makes sense. Also takes up another English player slot in the team, which is hard to come by, you know, with that old English player tax. Yeah, DCL, Everton, United, do it. Fulham! Another one I struggled with, big time. But I've decided to go for a versatile English centre midfielder with Harrison Reed. Harrison Reed shown some really, really good class at times. And I just think he would be a good little pickup for United. He wouldn't cost too much, as you know, he's not a reputable player. He's not known too well. It's not all fancy lights, limos and flashy cars for Harrison Reed, but I think he would come into United and he would do okay. He wouldn't be a starting midfielder, but I think he'd be reliable to come in for, you know, maybe league games, FA Cup games, even sort of lower end of the league. United need every point that they can get. Yeah, they're not at that point. Never mind that point. But he's quite versatile, can play centre mid, can play CDM, has played on right mid before as well, and also has played at right back. So wasn't an easy one, but Harrison Reed, you're my pick. Leeds United! Would it take Daniel James back? Probably no. But we're going to go for Jack Harrison. I think Jack Harrison is a really underestimated player. I think he's absolutely fantastic. Can play anywhere along that left flank, from left wing to left back, and can also play right mid and right wing, but we haven't seen him defend on the right hand side. But Harrison's been really, really good. He's popped up with some really important goals for Leeds to keep him up this season, and he's quite consistent in a very inconsistent Leeds team that we've seen. So for me, I think getting in Jack Harrison for United would mean decent to good cover at left back. Also gives you an option to play a left wing back as well if Ten Hag was going to ever try a 5 at the back, and maybe to try get the best out of Maguire, like what we see in an England shirt. And then also it gives you decent cover for the left wing position. He is pacey, he's fast, he's got a great shot on him, and his final ball into the box isn't bad at all. So Jack Harrison, I don't think he'd cost United too much, and other than the likes of Rafinha or Calvin Phillips, which already looks like they have moves done. But yeah, Jack Harrison United, be a good move for both of us. Leicester! You could go Yuri Tillemans, you could go for James Maddison, could even go for Vardy for a season, wouldn't be that bad, another kind of Cavani-esque deal, I guess. But Wilfred Ndidi all day, makes perfect sense. Wilfred Ndidi is just the player Manchester United need, in my opinion, to come in, sit deep in that CDM role and just to do his job, defend and carry the ball forward, which Ndidi does brilliantly. So yeah, there are other players at Leicester that would make sense, but for me, the one that makes the most sense is definitely Wilfred Ndidi, and I'm sure many Manchester United fans would like that idea. We're just after hitting the halfway mark in the video, and if you are enjoying this and you want me to see about your team, do two things. First of all, hit the like button, smash it, boom, 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 hit it. Also, leave a comment with your team down below, and whichever team I see commented the most, I'll do it next week. Also as well, hang on, it's just behind me, hit that one, the subscribe button. Manchester City. No, this shouldn't happen anyway unless a player has a death wish, but I'm going to go for John Stones. Why? Not just because he's English, not just because they need a centre-back, but also he is actually getting pushed out the team a little bit. They have Ake there still, Diaz there still, Laporte still there, still at City as well. So I think for John Stones to go somewhere, maybe he can recreate a partnership that he had with Maguire and English at Manchester United in a back three. Varane, Stones, Maguire might be decent, you never know. But I think John Stones, it would make good sense in general, unless you wanted to die from swapping over from one side of Manchester to the other. But yeah, John Stones. Newcastle, I was torn between two. Saint-Maximin, Dan Burn. Saint-Maximin, probably one of the most gifted dribblers in the Premier League. If he knew how to shoot and he was in a better team, which he could be this season, trust me, I think Newcastle are going to do very well, he'd be world class. We'd be talking about Saint-Maximin every week like he's Mo Salah or Mane. Dan Burn, really, really, really underrated centre-back. He is absolutely class. Him and his 9 fingers, that's just how good he is. He's a 9 out of 10 centre-back in my opinion. Dan Burn, big, tall, strong, fast, quick, brilliant, fantastic. Could be a little bit better with his feet, but other than that, really good. So I've gone for both of them players. Maximum, come in, take over where Rashford was playing out on that left-hand side. Might come in, go in on the right. Ten Hag might get the best out of him. He might suit that play style that Ten Hag's going to come in with. Or Dan Burn, big, huge, solid centre-back. Anything's better than Maguire. Nottingham Forest next, and I've gone for Joe Worrell. Joe Worrell. Joe Worrell. Joe. I've gone for Joe. Joe Worrell is a fantastic centre-back. He's been really, really consistent while at Nottingham Forest, and I think he would be a very, very good pick for Manchester United to pick up. Wouldn't cost that much, Good with his feet as well. Reminds me a lot of Christophe Ayer. They're both just very solid and very good with their feet and getting the ball out from the back. Them long balls into attacking players, and Joe Worrell does that well. So yeah, Joe Worrell. We're going to fly through the next two because they're a little bit silly and very unlikely, but I'm going to go through Southampton and I'm going to go through Tottenham. At Southampton, I've gone for Tino Livramento. Obviously left Chelsea, came in at the right back role in Southampton, and he's been really, really good. The reason I think he'd be good for Man United is obviously a lot of fans have started a bit of a hate train with wan-bissaka. He was really good, wan-bissaka, I thought personally, and then, yeah, the whole team has dipped. I don't know if that's the right place to pinpoint, but I think if they were to sign somebody from Southampton, Tino makes the most sense. So. And then Tottenham is kind of, I'd go Bazuma, but he hasn't even played for him yet. He's only just signed from Brighton, and I think that's a deal Manchester United should have definitely been on. But obviously Bazuma wanted Champions League football. But no, I think you'll get it this season, Man United. I think you'll get it. I think Ten Hag is finally the man to take us forward. But other than that, you've got Romero, makes sense. Really, Harry Kane in a way makes sense. He was linked to Fuse a couple of times over the last few years. But I'm going to go for Heung-min Son. Get the Asian star in there. There's no harm. The last few Asians that have played for Manchester United have been class. Ji-sung Park, very, very good. Kagawa, not as good, but I think Heung-min Son, besides being Asian, is brilliant to go into that Manchester United team. He would tear up that left wing. I could only imagine the combinations between Ronaldo and Heung-min Son, and yeah, it's a bit of a silly one because it won't happen, but as I said, out of all the players that are currently at Spurs, it would have to be Heung-min Son for me. That leaves us with West Ham and Wolves. West Ham, Declan Rice, makes perfect sense. Can cover centre-back and is decent there. Can hold midfield, carry the ball forward, win the ball. He makes perfect sense. Out of that whole team there at the moment, it has to be Declan Rice, clearly. And then at Wolves, I've gone for Conor Cody. Yeah, a bit mad. There's obviously, young, talented attacking players I could go for. They have a good team. Maybe even like Dendoncker might be decent for Manchester United. But I've gone for Conor Cody. He just makes sense. He makes sense. He's captained Premier League team that have done very well since coming up, and he's been part of that for the whole journey. He is a leader. He does lead by example. He comes up with good goals. He dictates the back line for Wolves at times. He's absolutely class. And that's what Man United are missing. They're missing a bit of passion, a bit of fire, a bit of fight for the badge, and I think Conor Cody would come in and install that and come in and not have too much pressure like Maguire did for him to flop. But just as I say flop, I'm gonna pop to the title screen. This is the title screen. There's going to be 2 videos that show on screen behind me, and there's going to be a big subscribe button where my face is. Like, subscribe, comment. Hope you enjoyed the video. Title screen is going to show behind me as I do this. Bye.